So Eminem wins favorite male hip hop artist at the 2025 American Music Awards. I guess his response was thank you to the fans. Let's see. It's been 22 years since Eminem took home his first AMA. Eminem won favorite male hip hop artist in 2025. Let's see. The Detroit rapper took home the win over the likes of Drake, Future, Tyler, the Creator, and Kendrick Lamar. It's the 9th American Music Award victory for M. Add to another accolade to his obviously decorated trophy case. So coming off GNX, Super Bowl, the Drake and Kendrick beef, whatever you want to call that. What does this really say? Because at the end of the day, M still is in the winner's slot.
Well, this is voted on by fans, essentially.
But fans have been engulfed, I believe, in the Kendrick Drake thing, or is that just a niche?
I mean,
is that a niche?
We're talking about Eminem.
We are.
And what kind of
I'm
fans
just
does
asking.
Eminem have? Eminem's fans span more than just people that listen to hip hop.
That's fair.
There's people that listen to Death of Slim Shady that did not listen to GNX at all. There's actually probably a lot of those people that listen to Death of Slim Shady and could care less about GNX.
So what you're telling me is the Drake and Kendrick battle, GNX, Super Bowl, lawsuit, Eminem's fan base is that powerful and that focused on him.
Well, they voted.
I'm just asking. What you're telling me is they're totally oblivious, clearly, to whatever has been going on because they love him that much.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay. Because this thing has been everywhere with Kendrick. You can't hide from that part.
You can't, but again, we're talking about people that couldn't wait to listen to Death of Slim Shady and could have cared less about GNX.
What type of people are those?
They've heard the diss tracks. They've heard that. I mean, it's in your face. It was at the Super Bowl.
For sure.
There's people that listen to Eminem that didn't like Kendrick's Super Bowl performance. You know what I'm saying?
He got me there.
So, I mean, this is Eminem we're talking about. Eminem has been out since, what, 99, 2000?
2000-ish, yeah.
And he came out swinging. He has a very big fan base. He's a very good rapper.
Yeah.
And regardless of who he calls out politically that he doesn't rock with, his fans still rock with him, even though those fans might vote against who he votes for. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense to you.
I tell you what, man. Now, we've all been aware of Eminem's power, his prominence, his legendary.
His album was actually decent. I liked it.
Facts. But we've all been aware of his dominance and his power from a standpoint of being a hip hop legend. But this is one of those times where I'm like, he's Teflon at this point because
he's white.
He's white. He's definitely white.
That's all this is.
Is that what this is?
That's all that this is.
And let's keep it real. Did any of us vote for anything involving the American Music Awards? I didn't. I'm not even really aware of the process.
Yeah.
I like I said, I haven't. That used to be my thing, is watching the American Music Awards and the Grammys. But, I know the nominations are tabulated based on airplay and record sales, at least before. And then the whole fan voting comes into play. Also, the full album came out in the Death of Slim Shady came out in July. So that's several months before GNX.
Yeah.
So it had a longer time to cook in, the voters' minds, whoever they are.
That's fair.
You have to understand a lot of times it's a numbers thing still. When was something released? Because sometimes people will be like, oh, why did that get nominated? Why didn't this? Yeah. Sometimes things miss deadlines. And so that's why, you'll look up and say, oh, well, this should have won this. I was like, well, it either wasn't. Sometimes with the Grammys, things aren't submitted, and sometimes things aren't submitted on time, or they miss the release window of when something could be nominated.
But that's not the case here.
No,
it's not. I'm saying we're talking about four people who are entrenched in hip hop.
Yes,
who have no idea of how I don't know how to vote on my favorite rap artist for the American Music Awards. I'm not aware of the process.
True.
So. But I'm pretty sure the people who vote for Eminem and make sure that he gets his accolades on these national platforms, they know exactly what the process is.
Yeah. Lone stripped it all the way down, though. I want to get more into what you just said about because you heard everything.
It's pretty cut and dry. I mean,
Yeah, it's
that,
not-
that
to the
just
point.
goes
Terry was
with
just
the
being
point I
nice.
just
Terry
that's
was
all
just
I
being
doing.
nice. He was
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
So you got to the point of what he was actually saying. He's just white.
he's got a white fan base. He
cares about this a lot.
Yeah, they care about the AMAs. They think
Gotcha.
it means a lot. They, even if you look at the comments on the post, because I went there just to kind of see, like, I was expecting a lot of people to be like, oh, this is some nonsense. People were like, oh, Eminem, congratulations. I'm like, number one, maybe they're bots. Who knows? Because dead internet theory.
We don't know at this
but
point.
At this
That's
point,
true.
but at the same time, it's like there's not an alternate reality where Eminem should win this award. Outside of the fact that he is a white artist that has a lot of white fans that don't listen to hip hop, that aren't interested in hip hop culture at all, are quote unquote outsiders to the sense that they like to enjoy hip hop music, but that's it from a distance.
Eminem is their guy.
That's all it is. He's their guy. I'm not even like calling it racism necessarily. I'm just,
No,
it's
it's
just what it is. It's like white people relate more to white artists when they're not a part of something. In general, I think we all do to some degree. I mean, there's definitely racism in there, but that's neither here nor there.
I'm not saying, I wouldn't say racism. I would say more just race bias, if you will.
Fair enough.
Bias is a
Fine.
good word.
Racism
Bias is a
implies
good word.
there's a certain level of malice and
Racism
evil.
is systemic,
Yeah.
which is why
But
it would be racism.
Okay,
This is
okay.
where it boils down to. That is when somebody says, "Oh, I don't like that rap crap," but what Eminem does,
yeah.
Yeah.
that's different.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
when it kind of crosses over that.
Yeah.
And Eminem is you know what I'm saying? He's one of the most elite rappers, performers,
We've always
hip
said
hop
that.
artists of all
We
time.
always say that.
regardless. He'll even tell you that some of his fan base is biased. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just is what it is. But even Taylor Swift didn't win the AMA either. Billie Eilish won the AMA. So
The other
Taylor
white girl.
Swift had the biggest selling tour damn near of all time, I believe, stadium wise,
Yeah.
that just wrapped up last year. I mean, we all know the power and the strength that Taylor Swift fans,
Facts.
you know what I'm saying?
It's like
do,
having
so.
2 Super Bowls here.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. This is a fan voted type of situation. Us as fans didn't vote for anybody.
Yeah.
It's
I'm not
just-
mad at it. Like,
I'm
I
not
don't,
either.
I
I'm
just-
not
I
mad
don't
at it
even
either.
care. Like,
yeah, it
to be
doesn't.
honest,
This doesn't bother me at all. I mean,
but it is kind of telling, and it is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's very telling.
It's a reminder of where we are in the United States of America, in my opinion. It's just a further reminder of like Kendrick Lamar can be the biggest hip hop artist, dominate an entire year, and every facet of media, hip hop, everything, Super Bowl, all these things, and white people will still say you're not good. You're not good enough.
because you know what? They looked at that ballot and
That's real.
the name that they recognize. Oh, Eminem's
It's
on here.
Eminem.
I'm
Yep.
voting for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you call that?
Yeah.
Race bias, but sure, but
Yeah.
But
yeah.
which it
the
is, but-
systemic. You're right, because racism is about
Dang, Lo.
about systems.
Yeah.
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 And so that system that picks the winners for this. So yes, you can say there's a level of racism there.
it's allowed.
So because sometimes when we throw out when people hear the word racism, they're like, oh, "I've never burned a cross on anybody's lawn." They think that's what racism
Right. There
is.
you go.
You
There
know,
you go.
instead of actually looking at the systems that determine certain outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
What it is. So
on full display.
But then again, like like I said, I just don't pay attention to the American Music Awards like I used to. I was like, I don't know how Taylor Swift would even care, because it's like, okay, maybe my friends didn't vote, but they did buy tickets.
yeah, like
She
and
did
you
make
could-
a statement about it as well too.
Yeah, and you could say the same thing for Kendrick, because I'm seeing these YouTube videos of the tour he's on right now,
Man.
and he's not playing theaters, he's not playing basketball arenas,
Stadiums.
He's playing baseball stadiums. I was
Yeah.
like, my God,
yeah,
And
You know.
Macklemore's album beat out Good Kid, Mad City for her album of the year.
it did.
yeah.
But the problem with that is like the voters and the vote. Now,
It's-
mind you, as hard as we've been on the Grammys the entire time we've been doing this show, they have at least addressed things that may have led to that being a thing that happened.
Right.
And
Where
then
they
they've
changed.
overcompensated for it too.
Yeah, perhaps, but maybe they've overcompensated in some people's eyes, but I'm like, oh no, they're actually compensating for where they've been deficient. And so, because of course anybody who sees Beyonce win country album of the year, who, when she's not nominated for one CMA, they think it's an overreach. But at the same time, it's a different group of people who vote for the Grammy country category, and so like maybe they just don't get it.
Yeah.
Popularity contest at the end of the day.
Eminem wins again, bro.
But at the same time,
he's popular.
What they say, never let a statue tell you how nice you are.
For sure. Yeah, because even GNX wasn't my favorite from last year. It was Tyler's. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Those are the two that I still listen to.
And Vince Staples was really good too.
That one, yep.
So
I'll take that too, yep. But nah, man, Eminem, I guess.
congratulations.
Yeah, you win again, sir. Your fan base is loyal, consistent,
And they understand
And
the
they've
systems that
100%.
get you the awards.
And they've held you down since the early 2000s.
Can't be mad at it, honestly.
No, I'm not mad
Since
at that.
TRL days, and they will continue to do so forever and a day.
It's not going to stop until he stops rapping.
Yeah.
Eminem will be 53 putting a record out, and it's going to sell.
If he decides to go on tour when he's 65,
It's going to sell out.
going to sell.
He's one of those artists where, I used to always think about what's this rapper going to look like at 45 or 50 when I was younger. And I say, how's that going to look? Eminem is one of those people that can transcend that. He can be old and still go out and do Lose Yourself, and people are going to be going crazy. He's one of those people that to me, I believe that. Now, KRS pop out, he's older, but it's going to be in a smaller situation.
Yeah, but
Kane, all these types of guys. But Eminem, he might be able to do certain level of venues and people still pop out. He might be the anomaly.
I mean,
bro.
but we're still talking about Wu-Tang doing their tour.
Yeah,
We're
but
still,
that's like 12 people.
okay, then we're still talking about as a group the fact that Public Enemy with Flavor Flav, who'd have thought that we'd be looking at Flavor Flav in 2025 still jumping around on stage with the clock on. I mean, that was a joke in the movie CB4 about like the rapper old folks home, and
I tell you what.
so now it's like there used to be jokes. Everybody had oh man, what are these rappers going to do when they get old? You know what they're going to do? They're still going to be on tour.
They're still
going to be
touring. They're
getting money.
getting that bag. But what I'm saying is Eminem, his is going to be different when he gets Chuck D's age. That's all I'm saying.
Remember, I mean, but Eminem is old.
He old, but he ain't old as Chuck D.
He's in his 60s.
But also,
Yeah.
because he started in the 80s. So like,
Exactly.
he
So
had a
when-
12 year
Bro,
head start.
when Eminem is 57, he probably will be able to do a stadium, bro.
Hey,
That's what
but
I'm saying.
At the same time,
Drake can do a stadium right now.
There it is.
But again, we just had the conversation. He's not a rapper.
Yeah.
But,
But his
Eminem, I don't
influence-
think will be wanting to do it because he's made so much money. He ain't got to he ain't got a rap to eat.
He don't have to. He doesn't have to.
But
That's
Chuck
fair.
probably doesn't either. But because it's a different.
Yeah.
Chuck doesn't live a crazy lifestyle. He'll tell you that.
That's
I
true.
don't think a lot of these artists that
don't
go
have
on
to.
legacy tours have to necessarily do it. I think they still have a genuine love for it.
Yeah.
I think so too. But
I'm not mad at that.
And this is another conversation. But I remember, Jada and Jadakiss and Fat Joe have a podcast now,
Mhm.
and they were talking about like, hey, we got to get out there. We got bills to pay. Kids in college. Now, mind you, Fat Joe started talking about, Louis Vuitton ain't cheap. I was like, dog, you don't have to buy Louis Vuitton.
You don't.
I understand you having to make sure you pay your lawyer and accountant and all that and make sure your kids get through school, but you trying to make it seem like it's something else. But that's fine. But, a lot of these artists, there's a whole conversation about Drake was like, look, he tours because he has to. He's got a lifestyle to maintain.
Yeah, when
That's
when you build a crib that big, that's a damn compound. That costs.
And so there are rappers who, and plus a lot of times we get deep with this maybe another time about the record labels deals and sponsorship and touring deals that they sign. They got to get out there.
Facts.
It's not an option. Like this is really the only money they have coming in.
It damn sure ain't off record sales unless you're Eminem. He moving units.
Eminem checks all the boxes. He's one of those
100%.
guys
He's
that checks
Teflon.
off all the boxes that it doesn't matter if he drops an album this year, next year, 10 years from now.
Doesn't matter.
It's going to do what it's supposed to do.
He's Teflon at this point.
Well, yeah, because he's got
just
a core.
shows that he's Teflon.
Because he's one of those artists where even if you say you don't like Eminem or you're critical of Eminem, which we have been over the course of this podcast, but we got to listen just so we can hate properly if we're going to do that.
Hey, we also give him his P.
And I
Exactly.
liked his last album.
Exactly.
Yeah, we
like
give
I,
him his piece.
but like I said, I'm not going to just be one of those, because there are some critics that'll just be like, oh, Eminem doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. I'm not going to do that unless I have listened to the project thoroughly over and over, and then I can point out the things I like and the things I don't. It's the same thing with Jay-Z. Yeah. To a certain extent, there are people who profess themselves not to be fans of Jay-Z.
There's a lot of people
and
like
listen to his albums just so they can tear it apart.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yep.
Shout out to Marshall.
Shout out to him, man. Shout out to Marshall, man.
Yeah.
We ain't mad at you, Marshall.
Shout out to Dick Clark and the American Music Awards.
100%.
God bless the dead. You know, that was his creation. So it is a thing.
We ain't mad at you, Marshall. Hey, get your awards, brother. You a legend. Whole legend. Facts.
But it is what it is.